Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm going to talk about what it means to have the sun in the sixth house of the composite chart or the Davison relationship chart. So the composite chart is a separate chart created based upon the midpoints between all of the planets of two people's birth charts. And the Davison chart is a similar chart that is created of the midpoint actually between the two birth dates. So it actually has a date. So these charts show a lot about the relationship itself as a separate entity. So it shows the combined energies, kind of like the soup that we make together as a couple. It's definitely a big, important part of relationship astrology, in my opinion. So the composite sun in the sixth house is sort of spoken negatively about in the books. So that is definitely something we're going to talk about. So I believe that with any composite chart placement or any placement, there can be a positive or negative expression, but you'll see the 6th and 12th house talked about a lot in a negative way, and we'll talk about why that is. So with the 6th house and with the sun, which is the brightest light and the combined ego energies of the two people coming through the 6th house, it can just show that one person at times could feel kind of subservient to the other. So when we have planets in the 6th house in the composite chart, this represents service, work, our day-to-day habits and rituals and health. So in some cases with a relationship with the sun in the 6th house in the composite chart, one person, may feel like they're serving the other. So there could be kind of like a codependency here with this placement. But commonly, or what I found is that when the composite sun is in the 6th house, the two people have actually met from work, or they work together now, or there just is a combined focus on the day-to-day habits that they have, the health sort of rituals. Like this placement to me, like it feels like this is the couple that is always at the gym together and like having their protein shake and like super focused like on vitamins and like health conscious behavior, So like that's one positive manifestation of this placement. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie had this placement in their composite chart, and it's mentioned in many Sinistry books and how they actually met at work, right, on a movie set. So that's a possibility with this placement, is that it is a work association, and like if it does turn into a relationship, it probably isn't the like happiest of all the composite chart placements, like just because of that tendency for one person to kind of dominate and one person to be serving the other. And that can alternate too, though. It's not always like set on one person being the leader. It does kind of like switch. But the 6th house in general, like, is a more serious place. Like, it's an earth house. But certain people, like, who have a 6th house stellium or lots of Virgo or Capricorn are going to find this energy just comfortable, or just, what they're meant to be working on in this lifetime anyways. So, like, it would be super common to see, like, a person with a natal 6th house sun or something, combining with another person in their composite chart. They have the 6th house sun. Like there's nothing wrong with that. So like don't get freaked out on what the books say. It just means that your combined energy is focused on work, or maybe you met at work, or maybe you are going to work together, or there's a huge focus on health and your day-to-day habits and rituals, and that's where you light up each other's lives. That's where the combined energy of you both you focus on is these 6th house matters. So don't freak out. 6th and 12th house composite placements, don't freak out. Although, there can be that tendency of something being unequal, or this being, more of kind of a short-term affair or like a work relationship. It doesn't have to be that way. Like you could have a beautifully aspected sun in the 6th house in the composite chart, and it could work very well for both people. So you have to look at everything and like the type of personalities. one thing that could happen is that both of your egos in this relationship actually subside. Like, so it's very different than a relationship with like the composite sun in the fifth, or like the first, where, you know, the way we combine, we actually become not more egotistical, but just kind of like the way that we combine, we become more expressed or more of us, or even more like selfish in a way. It's very interesting. Versus this placement, it's like the way that you combine is actually more selfless. So in this relationship, you're going to see yourself like giving more and serving more to the other person, or maybe like the type of work that you do together is some type of service related work, or working with animals or pets or children or something like that. Like it's yeah, so that's one thing that can happen, is that the combined egos, the combined like suns, right, you do in a sense become more service oriented, more giving. So like for, you know, certain people who maybe already have a really strong sense of self, you know, we got some Aries or Leos people that maybe could use a little toning down a bit at times, you know. No, it's good for them to express their ego. It's part of their purpose. But you know what I'm saying? Like people with an already overly strong sense of self, like with more selfish tendencies, it could be a really good lesson for them to be in this type of relationship where they actually are more focused on giving and serving the other, right? Versus some personalities that could maybe get swooped up into this, or sucked into this, where they end up losing themselves. So that's sort of the potential that we can have with a sixth house sun, is losing your individual self, being subservient or serving the partner or the relationship. So that would be one of the downsides of this placement, but that's like the general gist of it. Yeah, so the negative really is that, you know, one person may end up doing all the giving, depending on the type of personalities that are entering into this relationship. And then you may find yourself thinking, you know, well, what am I getting out of this? I'm just giving. So it can be sort of unequal. That would be the negative side of this relationship. But in other ways, you know, you're lighting up that area of life that is to do with health. It is to do with like getting grounded, getting focused on the details of your life. This relationship could really help you sort out your life, become way more healthy, become like way more mentally stable, like letting go of a lot of chaos, or, you know, uncertainty in your mind and your body with your health. So there could be many benefits to this placement as well. And yeah, that's kind of the general vibe of it. If you have had this placement in your composite chart or Davison chart, I'd love to know, what was your experience? Was it like this? Was it not like this? And thanks for watching, you guys. I'm still working on your requests. You can let me know in the comments more requests that you have, and I add them to my list. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.